Welcome to Whispers of the Word, where every chapter whispers the heart of God. Join us as we bring the Bible to life through cinematic storytelling, inspiring narration, and the timeless truth of God's Word. Before we dive into the chapters of the book of Joshua, let us understand who Joshua is. Birth, a child of slavery. In the land of slavery under the harsh hand of Egypt, a child was born to a Hebrew family. His name was Hoshea, a name that spoke of hope. The cries of his people rose from the brick pits, but this child was chosen by God. Born in oppression, he would one day lead his people to freedom. From the dust of Egypt, a leader was rising. The naming, Hoshea, becomes Joshua. Moses, the great deliverer, recognized the fire in this young man. He placed his hands upon him and gave him a new name, Joshua, meaning the Lord is salvation, a new identity for a new mission. The name declared what God would do through him. Joshua would not just lead an army, he would lead a people into the promise. The first battle, Joshua defeats Amalek. The first test came in the wilderness. The Amalekites attacked Israel, and Joshua was chosen to lead the army into battle. He fought with courage and skill, while Moses interceded on the hill. As Moses' hands were raised, Israel prevailed. Joshua won the battle, but he learned that victory comes from God. A leader was being forged in the fire of conflict. The servant, Joshua, guards the tent of meeting. Joshua was not only a warrior, he was a worshiper. He stood guard at the tent of meeting, lingering in the presence of God. While others rested, he remained. He watched over the sacred place where God's glory dwelt. In the silence, he learned to hear the voice of the Lord. A servant's heart prepared him for a leader's calling. The faithful spy, Joshua and Caleb, explore Canaan. 12 spies entered Canaan, but only 2 saw the land through the eyes of faith. Joshua and Caleb returned with a cluster of grapes so large it hung from a pole. They declared, "The land is exceedingly good, the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid." While others saw giants, they saw God. Faith set them apart. Faith would carry them into the promise. The promise, Joshua and Caleb are spared. The people chose fear over faith. They wept and rebelled, refusing to enter the land. But Joshua and Caleb stood firm. They tore their clothes and cried out, "Do not rebel against the Lord." God declared that only these 2 would enter the promised land. Faithfulness is not always popular, but it is always rewarded. Joshua would outlive his generation. The commissioning, Moses transfers authority. The day of transition came. Moses, the servant of the Lord, placed his hands on Joshua before all the people. He commissioned him as the new leader of Israel. The torch of leadership was passed. The crowd witnessed the moment. Joshua was no longer an assistant Favrishi, he was the successor. The weight of the nation now rested on his shoulders. The charge, be strong and courageous. God's charge to Joshua was clear and powerful. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua stood on the edge of the promised land, the Jordan River before him. The words of God burned in his heart. He was not alone, the Almighty was with him. Courage was not a feeling, it was a command. The commander's vow, "I will be with you." God's promise was personal and irreversible. He said, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." The cloud of glory descended, and the voice of the Almighty spoke. Joshua heard the promise that would carry him through every battle. God would go before him. God would fight for him. God would be with him to the very end. The new leader, Joshua, accepts the mantle. The man who was born in slavery now stood as the leader of a nation. The staff of Moses was now in his hand. The people looked to him with hope. The promised land lay before him. Joshua took his place, not in his own strength, but in the strength of the God who called him. A new chapter of Israel's story was about to unfold. The legacy formed Joshua in the Hall of Faith. Joshua led Israel to conquer the land. He defeated kings and nations. He divided the inheritance among the tribes. And at the end of his life, he stood before the people and declared, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." His legacy was not just conquest, it was faithfulness. Joshua, the son of Nun, took his place in the Hall of Faith, a testimony to the power of trusting God. From slavery to leadership, from faithful spy to conquering warrior, Joshua's life is a reminder that God uses the humble, the faithful, and the courageous. His name means, "The Lord is salvation." And in the fullness of time, another Joshua, Yeshua, would come to lead his people into the ultimate promised land. The story of Joshua points to the greatest leader of all. Thank you for journeying through God's Word with us. If this message encouraged you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Until next time, may God's Word be the lamp to your feet and the light to your path. This is Whispers of the Word, where every chapter whispers the heart of God. God bless you.